Hello and welcome to this epic video idea. I really don't know where I'm going to go with this video, honestly. I just kind of want to talk about the transfer portal and stuff. Try and get some college football stuff back into this because, it's been a while and I'm very excited for it. And this is one of the only things related to college football that I pay attention to is the transfer portal. And this is the team rankings, which teams have done the best in the transfer portal so far, which I believe these aren't really 100% because every site says something different. But, well, one thing is for sure Colorado and USC and UCLA seem to be definitely the top teams. These are probably right. Maybe not the right order, but these three teams are definitely the right teams right now. And so let's just go ahead and talk about what this means. So first of all, if you just look at the top three, it's three Pac-12 teams, future Big Ten teams, but three Pac-12 teams. And then down here we get two more Pac-12 teams, another Pac-12 team, and then I don't see any more from there for a while. But let's just go ahead and talk about what conferences right now could potentially be some scary conferences, or some good conferences next year. Judging off of the fact that the top three teams are Pac-12 teams, because UCLA and USC aren't moving until 2024, which means they still have this upcoming season before they move to the Big Ten. So UCLA and USC and Colorado are just on top. I mean, of course, Deion Sanders has got a bunch of talent rolling in there. UCLA as well. I mean, 5 4 stars. They have an index score of 56, which is just one off of Colorado's. Colorado's brought in a lot of 3 stars. UCLA hasn't brought in a whole lot, and they've lost. They didn't lose a whole lot, but they haven't brought in a whole lot. Colorado lost a decent bit, but they've brought in a hell of a lot more. So if they were missing anybody, they've most likely got those spots filled back in. Then at number 4, we have surprisingly Ole Miss. Now, they did lose 23, so they still have a little bit of work to go. They still have a little bit of work, but dude, 8 4 stars, that's insane. They lost 16 they lost 16 3 stars and 1 4 star, which 1 4 star is pretty bad. 16 3 stars is really bad, but they've got 6 back and 8 4 stars, which is really extremely good. I kind of skipped over USC. I mean, USC's also bringing in the talent. They didn't lose a 5 star or a 4 star, and they brought in 6 4 stars. That's dangerous. They only lost 10 3 stars, and they've brought in 6. Somehow, they're only an index score of 42. I don't really know how the index score works. I also don't know how this works, but it is a little weird how there's that much of a point difference, a point gap, and it looks to me like USC's pretty much done better. But I mean, these teams right now look pretty scary. I'm not too scared about Colorado though right now, because after all, they're bringing in all those transfers because of Deion Sanders, but we still have no idea how Deion Sanders is gonna do as a coach. We have no idea what his team is gonna look like when they're actually out on the field against USC, against UCLA. Nice, choke on my own spit. We have no idea how good Colorado is actually going to be. And considering it is Deion Sanders' first year in the Pac-12 in a Power 5 conference, I'm not too sure he'll do that good. I think, if anything, the team will get wins because of the talent, but not because they're actually fully ready. Just the players that he brought in are so good that if they go up against a relatively bad team, they're just going to win because they're faster, they're stronger, they're better. Not because they actually make the right plays and stuff like that. But against a team like USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, they're probably going to struggle pretty good. And back to Ole Miss. We already got Ole Miss. Auburn. Auburn sits at 5th. They did not have that good of a year. I don't think they even made a bowl game, did they? I'm not too sure if they made a bowl game. I think they went 5-7. But Auburn, they They're sitting at number 5 right now. They only lost 9 transfers, or they only lost 9 people, which is unbelievable to me because of how bad Auburn was last year. I mean, they were a pretty bad team. Considering, I mean, if they made a bowl game, they made a bowl game, but Auburn hasn't been that bad in a while. All right. But they only lost 9 transfers, and they've brought in 12. 4 of those being 4 stars, 8 of those being 3 stars. They've pretty much balanced out. They've done more than balance out the transfers they've lost. And they've brought in some really good talent. They're just 1 index score off of the 2 ahead of them. Auburn's in a pretty good spot. They could be dangerous. I think, doesn't Auburn have a new head coach, though? I think Auburn has a new head coach. I think they fired their last coach, and now they have a new head coach. I'm not too sure, though. That could just be me. Then at number 6, we have Wisconsin. This is my favorite part about the transfer portal is, like, of course, at number 1, you see Colorado, then just UCLA, USC, but then you see Ole Miss, Auburn, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Louisville. Like, it is like once you kind of get down the list, it gets a little surprising, honestly. I mean, we still have plenty of time to go. Before the games start. The games start in September. It is March. Like, we've still got a good amount of time. But right now, Wisconsin sits at number 6. They've got 13 transfers in, and they've lost 11. They have gotten 3 4-stars, and they've gotten 9 3-stars. But literally 10 of their 11 transfers out were 3 stars, and they haven't balanced that out yet. I'm going to say, though, Wisconsin's in a pretty good position. I don't know what's going on in Wisconsin and whatnot. They were good in 2021, or they were decent in 2021, but this season they fell apart. I feel like once they lost to Washington State, that was like the downfall of the Badgers. But I don't know, man. Wisconsin right now sits at number 6. To be honest, like they're the highest up Big Ten team right now. Then, I mean, I think Michigan's a little bit down there at like number 13 or something. But next up, we have another SEC team, which is Arkansas, which really, you do look at how like these teams, like especially in the top 10, you're going to look at how these teams are actually doing in the transfer portal and how good Colorado's doing, how good UCLA is doing, how good like these teams are doing extraordinarily good, because once you get down to here, it kind of balances out. Everybody's kind of in the same bubble. But number 7, we have Arkansas, who sits at 34, an index ranking of 34. They've gotten 12 transfers, but they lost 27. They've got 3 4-stars, but they lost 1. And they've gotten 9 3-stars, but they've lost 15. Arkansas, to me, last year was a very underrated team and had a lot of potential that they just couldn't achieve. They barely walked away with a win against Kansas in a game they should have had. But to me, Arkansas, I really liked Arkansas the year before, too, in 2021. I really liked that Arkansas team. Felt like it was kind of shitty that they got knocked off of the top 25. But Arkansas definitely could become something in these next couple of years. Like teams that I'm looking at right now that I'm not too sure about becoming anything is Wisconsin, Ole Miss. I mean, 8 4-stars is a lot of 4-stars. Don't get me wrong. That's a lot of talent, but I'm not too sure. Ole Miss always feels like they have the talent, but they're just never that good. And then surprisingly, at number 8, they were actually pretty good last year. I'm surprised that they lost 19 people. That's crazy. Yeah, they lost 19 people, but they've gotten 13 back. 2 4-stars, but they lost a 4-star. 11 3-stars, but they lost 13. So they haven't quite balanced it out, but Louisville's definitely looking like they can finish off the season, or finish off the transfer portal season with a pretty good set of team. Like they've got it. If they've gotten this much this far, they could be a pretty good team. And I'd actually love to see Louisville rise to the top of the ACC. Now, I just said that I haven't seen any Big Ten teams up here. I don't think I see. Okay, Florida State, never mind. But other than that, all right, Miami at 19. That's pretty far away. Louisville's kind of up here. Yeah, dude. I mean, we know Florida State's going to be a good team next year, but I would love to see Louisville, man, be like a 2-3 loss team next year. That would be amazing because, I'm always going to root for the underdog. I'm always like, of course, I see like USC and UCLA at the top of the Pac 12 and of the transfer portal, but I'm like, let's go Colorado. I see Ole Miss up here in Auburn, and I'm all for it. Wisconsin, all for it. Arkansas, yes, of course. ASU, who we're about to talk about next, but Louisville, like, I just would love to see them be a good team next year, and they were a pretty good team this year. Now, some of their big wins, like against Wake Forest and whatnot, came in turnover fests and whatnot, but Louisville ultimately has a decent team on them. I think they're a little bit better than what their record was, and they should definitely be a better team next year. And if they're not, that'd just be like a disappointing. That's the problem, is you look at the transfer portal with all these people and you like think to yourself, you're like, they're pretty good. They should be good next season, considering they were decent last season or something like that, brought new talent or something. Transfer portal, you never know, man. This could flop on his face. Texas A&M. Number 9, we have my team, ASU. Although I wouldn't get too like astonished at the fact that we are number 9. Kenny Dillingham, our new head coach, has basically decided we're going all Arizona and whatnot. He's completely brought like everything, like all the coaches and whatnot, Arizona. And one thing about Kenny Dillingham is he is an extraordinary recruiter. But we lost 21 players and we got 25. One of those, we got a 4-star. That's pretty good, but we lost a 4-star. And we lost 15 3-stars, but we brought in 21. So right now I'm looking at us. We're number 9, which is great, but I'm like, I don't see really a whole lot of talent. I mean, 21 3-stars, that's impressive. That's really impressive. The only team that is in relation is Colorado. Like, 21 3-stars is impressive, but we haven't really done anything with talent in front of that. I mean, a 5-star is insanely difficult to get, but we've only gotten one 4-star, which means really ASU still got some work to go. Also, we don't know how Kenny Dillingham is going to do as a head coach. We don't know what this team is going to look like at all. I say ASU next season goes tops 6-6, and seriously beating like our non-conference games. I say ASU beats Oklahoma State. We have them at home. Second game of the season. If ASU, when we're a decent team, I mean, take it from the Michigan State games, we always seem to do good at the start of the season, and then we flop in the rest of the season. So I say ASU is going to get we're going to get 3-0, and we'll probably lose to like USC and shit. We'll probably go like 6-6 or something like that. Number 10, we have the Ducks. Surprisingly, they lost 21 people. That's crazy to me. They lost 21 people, even though Oregon was a pretty good team last year. I mean, barely beating North Carolina, but they beat them after all. They've only brought in 10 transfers, 3 of those being 4-stars and 7 of those being 3-stars. So they lost a 4-star and they lost 19 3-stars. So obviously people did not like playing for the Ducks or something. I mean, after all, Kenny Dillingham was the offensive coordinator. I believe he was the offensive coordinator. I'm not too sure. I think he might have. I'm not sure about that. But he's left. So that, I mean, there's stuff in the program that has fluctuated around. So maybe people didn't like that and left. But right now, I still look at Oregon. I think Bo Nix is coming back next season. So I look at Oregon as definitely could probably be like a 4 or 5 loss team. I wouldn't say 3-2 loss team. I'd say like 4 or 5 loss. They just, considering all the talent, like in the Pac-12 right now, we have Washington, Colorado, UCLA, USC. I mean, even though you don't see Utah up here, I'm not going to sleep on Utah. I think they'll still be a pretty good team next year. And considering they've kind of beaten the shit out of Oregon these past couple years, I'm like, Oregon is probably falling off the chain here. They're probably not going to do that good. Number 11, we have Kentucky. They only lost 13 people and their quarterback, of course. but they only lost 13 people to the transfer portal. They've gotten 8 in return, 4 of those being 4 stars, 3 of those being 3 stars. They've lost 10 3-stars, however, and they've lost a 4-star. Kentucky, I mean, they kind of flopped. One could say they kind of flopped at the end of the season. They were like, number 7 out of time, undefeated. They kind of flopped. So I don't really know where Kentucky ends in this. Of course, I mean, you don't see Alabama up here, but we all know they're going to be good. You don't see Georgia up here, but we all know they're going to be good. And considering Ole Miss is getting a lot of talent as well as Auburn and whatnot, I look at Kentucky as probably like the same area they were this season. Probably around like the same, 5-loss area. They were like 8-5 or something like that. I can't remember. And then 12, we have Washington, this team right here. This is my Pac-12 championship winners. Now, I know I think I made a Pac-12 championship prediction or a Pac-12 overall prediction video way before the transfer portal or anything. I made it just for funsies, just a blatant shot in the dark to see if my stuff was right. And I don't like it anymore. I think I had like Oregon being at the top of the conference or something like that. I am like, dude, I like this Washington team right now, man. 7 transfers in, 11 transfers out. And, I mean, they really didn't lose a whole lot. They really haven't got a whole lot. But 7 3-stars. 7 3-stars is 7 3-stars, all right? And I don't really know how the index score works again. Like, I think right now ASU's gotten 21 3-stars, which would look like, oh, yeah, they've done better. Dude, I'm like yawning, burping, sneezing right now. I don't know why. The moment I decide to make a video, I just start to like release the toxins. Like, I'm sorry. I just keep making sounds while I'm trying to make this. But Washington, I like Michael Penix. I like the Washington team all around. I think this team could be really good next season. And to be honest, I don't know what happened, y'all. Like, I don't know what happened that made Washington not get in the Pac-12 championship. But if you looked at it, I don't know why Utah was the one playing. Because Washington was tied out evenly. Washington and Utah never played each other. I think it came down to the fact that Utah beat USC. But I looked at it like it should come down to record. Washington, after all, was Washington was the better team. They had a 10-2 record. Utah did obtain that Florida loss, and Washington, however, lost to ASU, which is like a shitty loss that season. If Washington did not lose that game, though, to ASU, I think Washington might have had a shot in the championship. I think they would have taken TCU's spot in the national championship. TCU would have dropped down to number 4. Ohio State would have gotten kicked out because, of course, TCU lost in that game. Ohio State would have gotten kicked out, and Washington would have been number 3 or something if they would have won the Pac-12 championship, which I believe they would have. I mean, Caleb Williams was hurt, and they did not play good. But anyways, on to 13. Florida State got 10, lost 13, 5 4-star. Damn, 5 4-stars, lost 1, 5 3-stars, lost 12. I'm not too sure about Florida State. They were a little skeptical last season, considering they were playing in the worst conference in the league, or the worst Power 5 conference in the league, the ACC. And they were seriously struggling with a lot of the teams in there. I was a little skeptical on calling Florida State good. They went on a streak of just destroying teams, which made me think, all right, maybe Florida State's good. But then when they went up against Florida, they kind of like struggled pretty greatly. I wasn't too sure about Florida State. I'm still not too sure, especially when they go into overtime with Oklahoma, which I get Oklahoma is a good offense, but like, nah. That Florida State should have, with their ranking, they should have been a lot better than what they were. And I'm a little skeptical as to see how this team can go. I'm not too sure if the bringing the talent in is going to set them up right. I'm more worried about how their play style and their coaching and their game time is. I'm not too sure. Michigan at number 14. This is a really long video, so we're just going to skip down here. I like Michigan, 7 transfer, 10. Like, this is where it all gets kind of slow. We haven't really seen a whole lot. Let's go to teams that I'm surprised about, and what I am surprised about is Houston at number 16. 15 transfers in, 18 transfers out, 11 3-stars. Nothing really to be said there. I mean, Houston actually, they started off the season at like number 24 or something, right? Or they were like ranked or something. But yeah, I mean, it looks like Houston's doing something in the transfer portal. That's good. I actually like Houston as a team. Of course, I don't like them in basketball because they're ranked number 1 and they're the best team. But you know what? In football, they're in the AAC. They're an underdog. Oh, this season they're in the Big 12, aren't they? Yeah, this season they're in the Big 12, huh? So yeah, I would love to see how Houston does in that conference. I'm not too sure though. I think they'll have a rough first season. I think all the teams moving in are going to have a rough first season. Maryland, 9 transfers in, 17 out. Yikes, 17 out. That's not good. They got a 4-star, lost a 4-star. They got 8 3-stars and lost 10. Maryland was a good team last year, barely losing certain games as well as they were getting killed in some games. They lost by like 7 points to Ohio State. If they could have pulled that off, man, this Maryland team would have been so much better. But that loss against Penn State, at Penn State is always difficult, but man, that was a horrible loss. They got shut out, which kind of shit on Maryland's season for me. Indiana at number 20. That is kind of surprising. 10 in, lost 22, 4-stars. Lost 1, however, and 8 3-stars, lost 13. Indiana, dude, I would love to see an Indiana resurgence. This team has been so bad for so long in football. We've got to start seeing some Indiana movement, all right? We've got to start getting this team moving. Let's get those gears rolling, all right? Let's get this team into Big 10 play already. Like, it pisses me off that teams want to move to the Big 10 so bad, and then teams in the Pac-12 are like scrambling to find a new conference, but then a team like Indiana is just sitting in the Big 10 all happy and shit, even though they'd put up like 2 wins a year that aren't even a part of the conference. It's like that could be us, that could be ASU, and we would actually be able to, have a decent run in the conference and whatnot, rather than just this shithole of a school being a free win and whatnot. Just pisses me off that teams are located in a different state, therefore they're in a better conference. What's happening right now to the Pac-12 is such shit. I hate it so much. All this looks pretty reasonable. I'm kind of surprised Tennessee's all the way down here. Nebraska up here. Penn State, yikes, dude. How? I don't understand the index score. I get only 5 transfers in, but 2 4-stars, like. Yeah, see, Utah all the way down here brought 5 in, lost 8. 5 of those only 3-stars. They're not doing that good in the transfer portal as of right now. Look at that, Georgia, man. 3 transfers? Really? 3? That's all they've gotten, and they've lost 10? They all 4 stars though. Okay, I'll shut up. Cal sits at 50, of course, because they've just decided they don't give a shit about football. Oh, man. Look at this. Arizona, 5 transfers in, 4 4-stars, and probably a 2-star. I'm sorry, 4 3-stars and probably a 2-star in there. Lost 2 4-stars, lost 15 3-stars, and they've only managed to bring in 5 new people in return. Damn, dude. Damn. They're in the negatives. We've entered the negatives. They're in -6, dude. They're doing horrible. Holy, that is a great thing to see. And then I think Stanford's doing the worst in the Pac-12. Yikes, dude. They got to step up their game. Lost 3 4-stars. And they've gotten 3 3-stars, lost 10, -41. Oh, my God. Texas A&M, dude. 3 transfers in, 28 transfers out, dude. Oh, my. Dude, whatever is happening over there in Texas A&M is just got to be so sad for those fans. Because, imagine going into this season, ranked number 6, you brought in so much talent. You're like, this is Texas A&M. This is a big year. and then you go 5-7, don't even make a bowl game, and now you're just watching your team fall apart. -46 index score. I don't know what that shit means, but that shit sounds horrible. And I mean, even Alabama, dude, 2 transfers, a 4-star and a 3-star. Lost 5 4-stars and lost 9 3-stars. Dude, some of these teams gotta. God, why do I have a stuffy nose? Some of these teams gotta kick it into 4th gear, man. I mean, these are all powerhouse teams. Yes, Washington State is a powerhouse team. Clemson, Alabama, Texas A&M. Up here, I mean, you've got fucking what's their face? Even Florida up here. You've got Georgia and Ohio State. Maybe even Baylor. You could count Baylor in there somewhat, I guess. Utah. Like, these teams are really struggling right now, it looks like, in the transfer portal. I don't know, man. Comment your guys' predictions for the season. Who do you guys think is going to be like our big teams next year? Do you guys really think Colorado's going to be good next season? I mean, do you think Maryland could be a good team next season? Just go ahead and tell me what you think. And yeah, that's all for me. Adios.